BlazeBodyz! What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming back. You probably noticed I put up a picture of a plant. And of course you read the text, and just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Now, the reason I brought that up is it's coming up on a year, and it was awful. I don't want to get into it. I'll start getting emotional and start crying, and then you're gonna think I'm a goofball. But the reason I brought it up is through a conversation I had with one of my amazing clients about loyalty. Now, Scott, my friend who passed away, my best friend. I don't have a lot of guy friends. My whole life have been, the majority of my friends, my best friends, my friends, have been women. They always say that guys can't be friends with women, which is bullshit. I just think that my over-analytical mind always synced up better with communicating with women. I have a lot of I know a lot of people, obviously, but I don't get out for some. I don't ever. All I do is work out, and sleep. I have a very sheltered life, but yet I know a lot of people. I guess I've been around for a while, and obviously I have lots of guy friends, but never did I have a friend that was as close as my friend Scott was, and that's why it was so upsetting. And on the topic of loyalty, it's a long story, but I'll just say this: that I've known Scott a long time. He went through a lot. A lot of people don't know his story. Maybe they do. I don't know. I'm just saying that Scott was the one person as a guy that I could open up to about anything, and vice versa. So, having said that, knowing Scott's inner self, it was a very, very dark, very sad person inside. But yet, at the same time, extremely creative. He was a beautiful person. I don't mean that on a physical sense. He was a good-looking dude, but I don't mean that in that way. I mean that inside, he was a very good person. And, when you open up to someone like that, and they open up to you, there are bonds that you can't replace. You can't replace that. So I literally loved him like he was my brother. So when he left us, it was a huge loss. It was literally, I mean, we all know this feeling, but it felt like someone chopped my arm off. Like you lost part of yourself, and that's very sad. But through all the bad, through the many years that I was very close with Scott, I've known him since high school. But at some point, 10 years after high school or so, Scott started coming to the gym that I was managing, and we just became friends right away. He was very, like myself, he was very sarcastic, cynical, very creative man, probably the most talented, musically talented person I've ever known in my life. So we got along, and I don't want to go into the whole story, but he went through a lot along the way in this past, my God, 20 years. It feels like yesterday, and through it all, through all the bad, we were there for each other. I went through a lot myself in the last 20 years. So through all his bad and good, through all my bad and good, we were tight. I literally, and I've told him before, I would have jumped in front of a bus for the kid. And I know he would have done the same. That kid did so much for me without even hesitating. So I really, I have to compare it to the loss of my brother, like I said in the text. One of my biggest regrets in life was not being close enough to my own biological brother. And Scott was like the brother I wish I could have been to my brother. So it was hard. So what I'm trying to say is, when you have someone that means that much to you, you really should embrace and appreciate that person or persons, because Scott's passing came fast. Literally, if there was one person in the earth I never would have thought that would have happened to, it was him. It was so much of a going on, and had loved so many people, cared about him. And so, I mean, his wake, I've never seen anything like it. It had to be like 3,000 people in the span of like hours. It was I was really overwhelmed. But anyway, getting back to that, appreciate the people you have in your life. I'm telling you right now, like, don't take anyone's connection for granted, because it could all end tomorrow. It really could. Now, as far as that plant that you saw in that picture, I've literally every day taken care of that thing. I water it, I prune it, I make sure it's okay, I make sure it's in the sunlight. I literally feel like Scott is in that plant. I really do. I named it Scott. But even a plant, you should appreciate its connection. I know that sounds crazy, but don't take anyone or anything for granted in life. It really, don't burn bridges. You never know, later on in life, you may need those people. Don't go through life with a positive outlook. If you have problems or issues with someone, keep it to yourself. Don't put it out in public. Don't. It's not worth it. Seriously. Just focus on the positive and really truly embrace who you have in this life, not what. Forget all the materialistic bullshit, because it means nothing in the end. In the end, it's all about friends, close friends, and family. It really is, because they're the ones that are going to be there for you. When you're in that grave, when you're in that coffin, and they're at your wake or funeral, you'll be looking down and you'll see who you made a difference with and touched. Life is short. It really, really is. And the older you get, the more you realize that. All right, me and my plant gotta go. Have an awesome week. I hope you all had a great weekend. I know I say that every video, but I really do hope you had a good weekend. Get out there, do your best, give it your all. Tomorrow, get up and do even better. All right, today is your opportunity to fix yesterday, and tomorrow is your opportunity to do better than today. Kick some ass!